has been impeached hours after presiding over the purported impeachment of the Speaker of the House, Honorable Chinedum Orji. Then this has been going on. And then these other people had also insisted that this will continue, while the Speaker also insisted that it must go his own way. You are an Abia, and I'm sure you've been following the trend. So, what's your take on this?
Well, the impeachment thing started immediately after the election. After the elections were won and lost, the first we heard was that there was an impeachment motion being moved or being sponsored by some members against the person of the governor. After a while, that one was also discountenanced. It was discountenanced, and by the House of Assembly, the 7th Assembly said no. We had no such thing in our deliberations. In fact, we never had any contemplation of such. Later, that was also suspended, and that talk was relaxed. We also heard that the governor at a point had a brief meeting with some members of the House, and then we never knew that internal politics, or it could be interpersonal relationship failure, or let me say personality conflict between among some members of the House, had actually reached the point it is now, until we saw the drama that played out. To me, it is a drama, and also, yes, a notion of illegality. It must be named appropriately what it is. A drama because you don't stage impeachment outside the complex of the legislative quarters or the House of Assembly itself. I do not know where this impeachment happened, whether it was in a hotel or in a residence. But what I saw was that these 9 members who said they were impeaching the Speaker also convened and sat somewhere and deliberated, and the impeachment motion was moved against the Speaker. And before them was a mess. And I was wanting to know, how did they get that mess? Was it the original one, or something fabricated and fashioned by someone? Maybe an artisan somewhere. But I remember the case in 2006 between Rashidi Lado J of Oyo State and his challenger there. In that matter, the appeal court delivered a landmark judgment where it said any impeachment done outside the complex of the assembly is a nation of illegality, does not stand before the law. So exactly the same thing was what actually happened in Abia State, where 9 members sat and declared that they had impeached the Speaker
of the House
for financial recklessness. Now, if you are impeaching somebody, there are procedures to it. There has to be a notice to that person. There has to also be suspension in some instances, or in some cases, because the Speaker will not be the one to preside over his impeachment. There is that saying in law, this maxim, nemo judes and asaswa. You cannot be a judge in your own case. So you have to follow the due process. And then there is also a required number, you understand, majority votes, that will determine that the impeachment is legal. Now, did they get that number? What they only succeeded doing was to get signatures and names of other members, including those who were even outside the country. But I remember vividly, one of the honorable members so mentioned, or whose name was on the list, said he was on legislative vacation. That was what his own release said. He said he had no hand in that motion being sponsored as it were by the deputy, by Honorable Kennedy Njoko, I think, yes, Njoko, member representing I think Obingwa.
Kennedy Njoko is of Isioma.
Yes, Coach Isioma, yes.
He's not involved in this.
Okay.
Yes, the deputy speaker was the one who presided over the.
There was a person who moved the motion.
Yes,
I think it was Kennedy.
Motion, yes.
It was Kennedy who moved the motion, yes. And I think even the motion itself, the context of the motion was totally wrong, even in terms of grammar and how it was said. He said they were moving impeachment motion, or they were moving for impeachment against the speaker for his lack of insensitivity. That was how he put it.
For his insensitivity or
lack of insensitivity in the 3 minutes clip I saw and analyzed.
That means
yes, and that was one of the things that happened in 1976 when they wanted to sack Dinka. Yes. Sorry, when Dinka wanted to sack the government of Murtala Mohammed. Dinka placed Nigeria under dawn to dusk curfew, where he had meant dusk to dawn. So now this man said they were sacking the speaker for his lack of insensitivity. It could be a slip of the tongue, but what I wanted to know was
a slip of the tongue.
I wouldn't know. And it was a prepared. It should be the public domain. Yes, and it was even a prepared text that he was reading from. Now the question to ask is: had the speaker had an issue or heated to being sympathetic or empathetic with the cause of the member of the Seventh Assembly, that because of empathy they were impeaching him? Because he said lack of insensitivity means that someone is even sensitive to your problems or to your concerns. So that is also the problem on its own. Then again, the fact that I heard one honorable monarch, I think from Ulabo, tried to distance himself, saying the signature was not his. So the signature was irregular, or it was an irregular signature. In fact, how did they get that? I think for the fact that the speaker was able to actually get access to the complex of the House of Assembly and then sat with other 9 members too, and they suspended these other people and set up a committee to review this. I'm waiting for the report of that committee. You see, there is a particular thing, or there are things I was actually looking to see, or I was actually wanting to hear about this, about the Seventh Assembly. It is not that the speaker is unimpeachable. It is not that he shouldn't be interrogated if found, even as it were now, if found.
Okay, you've done justice to that question. One of the key things you mentioned is that the impeachment was not done at the floor of the House.
It was not done at
the Abia State House of Assembly. Yes, even in the statement, the thing said it was done in Omaya, in an undisclosed location.
Yeah.
Where the thing held. The only thing that gave it a little backing is that they had the mess with them. Like you rightly said, whether that was a
forged one or
the one they built themselves and the emergency.
I can't establish.
All right. Having said that, Uchendo had earlier that day, to a viral video presided over, and they pitched Oji at an undisclosed location in Omaya, and suspected, and also in Omaya, and suspected to be a Mekomera government house. That is, nobody is certain, but that is where, it was alleged to have held. Now, the lawmakers who met at the location elected Honorable Chukwu Diapu, representing Omaya East State constituency, as the new speaker. Yeah. But even before we go into this, I want to, the 7th Assembly is almost coming to an end.
Yes.
And then the 8th Assembly will be ushered in.
Yes.
And then what is your assessment of these assemblies, so to say?
Yes.
Considering their constitutional positions and what they are empowered to achieve.
Yes. God bless you so much. You see, this should have been the priority, the question. You understand? How many bills was the 7th Assembly able to sponsor or to even churn out or to enact? How many laws did they enact? And what were the benefits of these laws so enacted? And then again, what do we expect the House of Assembly to do for us? Just the same way we have at the national level, we have a national assembly. The state assembly is expected to perform 3 roles. 1 is representation. 2 is lawmaking. 3 is oversight. You have to oversight, monitor work of the executive. You understand? And to that extent, I would say I am still waiting for the 7th Assembly to come up with reports about 3 critical issues that happened in the state for which it inaugurated committees. 1 was the issue of the $56 million World Bank loan about infrastructure project. Then they set up a committee and said the committee will look into that matter. The other one was about the SME microfinance bank. And then, but if you look at it generally as it were, I can't really say this 7th Assembly, you understand, is the best. I can't even say it is the best or it is the worst. It's just been how it used to be. But I am looking to see. I'm expecting a paradigm shift in the 8th Assembly, being that assembly is a little bit balanced. You have members of PDP, you have also members of the APC. I'm expecting a thorough debate. You understand? In fact, a serious debate about issues of governance, issues of policy. That is what we should expect from the national or let me say a state assembly. Not just about, as we have in the federal level, where there is cordiality, that kind of father-son relationship between the executive and the legislature. So because even the governor has a member representing him there, you understand? And all of us, even the deputy governor. So what Abians are going to judge this 7th assembly is how many laws did it make, and then how did these laws, you understand, so enacted, impact the lives of Abians. And then finally, the areas like their oversight, for which I mentioned these committees. These are their oversight jobs or functions. How do they go about it? And then we also have to look into how were they able to midwife or to manage issues like debts, you understand? Debts, infrastructure, health, other critical issues. Because we've had situations we've even analyzed here, and we are asking, what will the House of Assembly do? So that is what Abia should be looking at. You understand? Not this national politics that seemed to me, that it reminded me the proverbial saying about the tortoise. That the tortoise was stuck in the mud, was trapped there, and why there the tortoise swam, why there the tortoise drank, why there the tortoise even perceived and inhaled all the smells, only to shout at the rescuer, "Do you want me to die now?" when the rescue had come. So these persons have been there with Right Honorable Chinedu Mochi. So they've been with him from the get-go of the 7th Assembly. It is now that they are finding it wise to impeach him for financial impropriety they themselves could not even establish or disclose. So to me, I am not saying the speaker, while enjoying his speakership, may not have committed any offense or may have committed. What I'm saying is that if you say something exists, you give it a name. Tell us what this man did, to what extent, and in what tune.
All right, I'm also sure you listened to the news this morning, and then one of the members of the House of Abia State House of Assembly, who is I think the chairman of the corruption committee,
yes,
he also talked about bringing in EFCC
into the matter
to look into. You talked about debt and so on. That this financial impropriety, and some other things in the House of Assembly they talked about, and I think that is headed by one Honorable Ichita. Yes. So now, what I want
from what I heard, also is on suspension.
Okay, but he's the one heading this other group. Now, what I want you to be holistic about this.
Yes.
Looking at the State House of Assembly, I know we've talked about it sometime here, and how most of them, like something you mentioned sometime, the House of Assembly, the National Assembly, said one of the things they've enjoyed most is their relationship with the executive,
led by the president,
and that is to say that the State House of Assembly or the National Assembly that is supposed to stand aloof of its own is not doing so. And that is why things are not working out fine. I want you to holistically look at this and say, this 7th Assembly that is about ending, how have they failed? What they were voted in for, were they able to achieve it? You're an Abia.
Yes, I think, personally to me, I wouldn't say they were able to achieve much. It was in Ebonyi State that a woman, a female legislator, was giving money for vehicle. Understand? As a lawmaker, she was giving money for vehicle. She said, no, if I am to purchase this vehicle, what value am I adding to the lives of my constituents? She used it to build bridge. But here, the problem we have in Nigeria is that we expect least from our lawmakers and expect more from the governors and the presidents. That is the problem we have here. And we don't hold them to account. We don't bring them. See, many of us do not even know the address of the constituency office of the representative.
That's true.
And this is called representative government. You and I here cannot go there to debate. We can't just go there in that small complex all Abians here, including those who are resident in this part of Abia, all of us cannot at the same time go to that place to debate or to represent ourselves. So we elected someone, we delegated power to that person. Is that person living up to expectation? And I would say no, because there are issues I had expected the House of Assembly to wade into. For example, the issue of power outage. I didn't hear anything about them. Now see, many things have happened in Abia. We don't even know. See, we need publicity. How often do they sit? Is it publicized? Do they allow our a TV station like where we are now today to capture their deliberations, for us to see the substance of what they are discussing? That is where I have issue with them. What is that? You see, we have had a lot of committees, the House will come, and then how do they even debate our budget? Some of the things they may have undertaken are not in the public domain. We don't even know what their other paper looks like. When they convene, what do they even have to even talk about? And those things they are talking about, do they affect us? I've never heard anywhere plenary session being played on radio or on TV. So that is inadequate publicity we have been talking about. And to that extent, many people do not even know their members. Many people don't know their members. Do they even have offices? I don't want to talk about that one as if I'm too convinced. But most of these places, I don't know where their offices are. I don't know where their office. I'm talking about constituency office. Sorry, permit me to cite this one example. One of the legislators, federal legislators in Abia State, there was an event that actually led me to the office. Do you know what I saw? That the place had no human presence for almost 6 months, or it could have been a year. I asked the liaison officer, because he's a federal lawmaker. I asked the liaison officer, why is this place dusty? He said, no, they usually come here. It's just that this one happened. I said, no. Even the newspaper here is a paper of last year. And I began to ask questions. What deliberations your boss or your principal? I'm expecting to see bills.
Yes.
I'm expecting to see Hansard. I'm expecting to see those things they go there to deliberate. I didn't see any. So this is also how, due to the fact that we don't even have strong legislatures, it empowers the executive to be corrupt, to go in excess of what the Constitution had actually provided for. Because nobody is checking, and until we understand the paramount place, the role of legislature, that is only when we can get our democracy right and working. This is only place people are allowed to express their opinions, including to debate public policies. You understand? It's not just about the government or the governor bringing a bill and it is a bill and it becomes law. Even the appropriation bill of the state, how was it debated? How are they managing the debt the state is owing? You understand? How are they looking into issues like areas of strike? Now currently the judiciary is on strike. How are they reacting to issues on strike? Even as we speak, Abia State University, the hospital, over issues of long-standing salaries, areas that have not actually been paid. The school session, academic session is still on, but the hospital is not admitting any patients, it's not treating anyone. So that speaks to something. What do our lawmakers do, even including the members representing that particular locality? You understand? So these are the things that should have formed their agenda. So when by the time they leave, we'll now be able to make general and conclusive judgment. But for now, I can't give them a total pass mark.
Comrade, shortly before we go on a very short break, don't you think that most of the contestants of our state houses of assembly, even the National Assembly, are just doing that just to make money, to bear names and so on? Because if you look at what happens when you talk about constituencies, there are a lot of people who don't know where their constituency office is.
Yes.
And even those of them that created one with a very big billboard, you discover most of the times when you get there, you see no person there. So is that what the formation of a state house of assembly or national assembly should be?
It is.
And is the assembly bound to accept whatever thing that comes from the governor?
No, the assembly is, the legislature is not one and the same with the executive. According to the doctrine of separation of power,
yes,
by Baron de Montesquieu, the executive is there to enforce, but the legislature is the watchdog, there to supervise, to say no, this one will not go by debating. And that is why I say the substance of the debate they go there to have. do they even have debate in the first place? And they such debate made public. We even using. I'm talking about using. Even if they cannot even allow private media. How does this? Do they even use the so-called BCA and the rest of them to say people should tune in and listen to the debates going on? Now, some of them I know don't even have offices in their constituencies. They will have offices in another constituency. You begin to talk about proximity and contiguity. You see, it's not even here nor there. Some of them don't have some, and see, these offices are provided for and what they receive money for. Yeah. There is money to run these offices. So why not have these offices and why not throw it open? You understand? Or throw them open. Let the people come. How can you generate a public bill without access to the public? Because the people have to come and say, Honorable, see what we are facing, see what we are having as challenge. There is a gap here in the provision of infrastructure here, or maybe we think that this policy is not favorable to us. You now begin to see the states debate over these things, and it does appear everything starts and ends with the executive, and it's quite unfortunate. You understand? So their duty is not to play this kind of drama, that diversionary drama. One source I read called it Nollywood impeachment. A source I read called it Nollywood impeachment. And you begin to see that we also have to talk about the quality and the caliber of persons we elect here to. If somebody can actually stand up and say he was impeaching a speaker for lack of his sensitivity, then it shows also then what are we going to expect? Because I am thinking that, you see, sometimes I'm trying to say this thing. If the governor looks at the quality of the people who are there debating, that is where you need the PhDs. That is where you need the professors. That is where you need there's experts who will make legislative input. Not even the governor should understand that these persons are just maybe average.
But do you know recently, even as we speak, there are a lot of people. It's not all about someone's profession or what the person does for a living, but there are a lot of them that have no idea of what the law says, both that of the state and of the federal, that are in that house of assembly.
That is the thing. Some of them can, I'm sorry to say it, but with all due respect, some of them may not even be able to articulate this constitution or these laws. You see, I was here the other day. I said, if you want to quote a section, there is a way you quote law or constitution. Say section, subsection, paragraph, and item. There is also schedule. You have paragraph in schedule. You have parts. You understand? So how will these persons articulate this? It's not just about saying it. Do they even articulate this? Now they are also giving money for PAs, those who will help them do these things. You understand? They are also giving money to run and maintain their offices. The money you are giving, the car you are giving is official. It's because of that office. It's not because you are elected. It's because so that you can go to that office and from there to the chamber. Even at the chamber, they have offices too. So why will we waste money and then we can't have access to them? That's the problem we are having. So if I am to judge the Seventh Assembly, even from the first assembly in the day of RORC, I will say I'm not satisfied.
Okay, don't you think this thing is a general problem? Just this about 2 seconds. Just take this within 5-10 seconds. Don't you think that even the public, the electorate, are also directly involved in the misdoings of these state houses of assembly? Because how many of them have been recalled by their constituents?
Exactly. The people are also part of the problem. We have never heard about the recall process. You understand?
Yeah.
We've never heard about recall, and there are 2 ways or 3 ways a member can lose his seat. One is if he's a principal officer, like a speaker or the deputy, impeachment. The other one is recall. The other one is natural outcome. It could be sickness or death, or the person voluntarily, naturally says, I no longer want to be a member. You understand? But unfortunately, our people don't even exercise half the powers given or vested in us by the Constitution, including to recall these persons. You understand? And that is why you see this notion of illegality play out, this drama, this horrendous drama. We never knew that we were electing to our chamber dramaturgs. That is what they call dramaturgs. We never knew we were electing dramaturgs there too. What we needed was a robust, engaging, challenging, electrifying debate. That if someone is saying this budget cannot stand, I don't like the provision for education, I don't like the provision for health, we didn't include persons with disability. We now begin to listen. And that's why I say, what is the substance of the debate they go there to make? I'm sorry to say this, if you begin to look at them, these persons individually, you see, you may be. How do we even elect them? From where we even elected people who are in the park. I'm not saying it to me. I'm not saying it to disregard anybody.
But that is true.
Yes, we elect people from the motor parks. We elect people from the motor parks, from market unions and the rest of them. How do you expect such a person? Now see, what type of law? How does that person understand? We are talking about a state and the business of governance. I am not saying this to exclude people who belong to a particular demographic. I am saying it to me as an Abian. There are a caliber of persons. In fact, there should be a caliber of persons we entrust this representative function.
That's it.
You understand? Yeah. So it's not just about because somebody is loyal to someone, you go and pick them from the park, you say, or because they contribute to your electoral success, where they can mobilize thousands of people, you go and pick them and say, go and pick up ticket and run. No. You understand? So it has to be about substance, not because substance is what makes law substantial.
All right, our wonderful viewers, we're going to go on a very short break. When we're talking about this, although we have already elected our state house members, we've already elected them. But what we're saying is that it has to concern itself with substance. You that is vying for this post, are you just going because of the monetary involvement, or are you going because you want to represent the people to right the wrongs of the past? What are you there for? That's what we're talking about. We'll be back shortly, and when we come back, issues of the moment, we'll continue. Don't go away, keep watching Living Television.
And so you can keep on watching Living TV. I can say in pidgin English, Living TV. Living
TV, bringing the word first to you.
Viewers, I'm glad you're still there watching your favorite television, the Living TV. It's still your favorite program, Issues of the Moment, where we discuss current affairs. Today, we're basically on our state, Abia, where we are discussing what do you call it? The House of Assembly saga, impeachment and re-impeachment of the Abia State House of Assembly. Now we've talked about the Deputy Speaker who with the other members in an undisclosed place in Umaya, impeached the Speaker of the House. All right, and did the Speaker keep quiet? No. For the House, during a plenary later on the floor of the House of Assembly, presided over by the Speaker of the House, Right Honorable Chinedum Oji, also impeached the Deputy Speaker and elected Honorable Mandela of Basse, of Abia local government, also to represent, the Deputy Speaker. You had that.
Yes, I had that.
And then, do you think if what we had expected from these people is exactly what we're getting, was that the right action for the Speaker at the floor of the House to re-impeach or to bring these people and ask them, why have you done this? And then, what are your reasons for this impeachment? And then,
yes,
from right there, you now can demand them.
You see, there are ways to it. I think I've said it before. Was the speaker put on notice? That should be the number one question. You don't just, impeachment has a process. If you read the constitution very well, see, the impeachment has a process. It's not just processes. You have to suspend. Because the person you are impeaching must not be the speaker. See, you have a speaker. He will not preside over the impeachment. The deputy speaker will go in if the matter is not also affecting the deputy speaker. So the deputy speaker now go in. If possible, now talk about impeachment. There should be a notice served. Is Honorable Chinedum Oji in possession? Is he aware of such?
Now let's assume this thing was done in error. I
yes.
am now asking. Now the position of the speaker, is that what it ought to be?
Or you mean by sacking this person?
These other people in brilliant. So
because they have actually shown where their brain is butter. They have shown lack of submissiveness. You understand? And there is that divisive tendency in what they are. But then it's actually showed the underbelly of the house, that the house had never been a united place, and we were thinking the house was united or one, but it was never united. Now see, the speaker made a statement where he even said that the persons doing this are people who feel they are close to the governor, and they were the ones trying to cause problems between him and the governor. That's what the speaker said.
Yes,
and that in as much as he knows his political background, he was talking about his father being a former governor now, and being a politically exposed person in the state, and in fact a principality in the state, if you like. He now said, I serve in senator too. And the one who also coordinated in the south is the presidential campaign of the PDP. He said that they never respected that he has actually never tried to, from what he was saying, you understand, he had never tried to carry himself or to conduct himself as someone who is coming from that family. But we must understand that. Now listen, like I said about the proverbial tortoise who was talking in the mud after whole days and was not. Now see, this man we are talking about is a lame dog politician. He's not returning. He lost the election. He's a lame dog now. He lost the election. So he's time limited too. There is no way he can be back there. Now, what I'm saying is that for the 4 years of his speakership, when he was speaker, for the entire 4 years, these people did not discover this, either through the budget or through anywhere or anything, any dealings, any legislative operation or business. They did not discover that he was corrupt or that he's a corrupt person. Now they are telling us now that he's corrupt, even without record. What would have happened is, tell us the record. Does he have hand in any of the allegations we have been hearing or something? You didn't even substantiate that. And to that extent, I have started a case. I said in the case of the Oyo State in 2006, the appeal court said no. You cannot impeach someone sitting outside the perimeters of the House of Assembly, and you cannot impeach someone using a fake mess, or maybe I don't know. So to even me, we should even interrogate this. You understand? We should even, or even the real mess. The real mess, yes. Now the question should be, how did they get the names of of persons who are now saying they are not part of the business? How did they get the name? Because we are talking about 24 member House of Assembly. Now 18 persons. But
you also you don't have to forget in a hurry. You know that in situations like this, they will be lobbying and re-lobbying.
Lobbying people who are outside the shores of the country, even those who even agree that they were not in the, they believed their alibi to say I wasn't in the country by that time. Somebody said he was in Canada. I think member representing I've actually forgotten. Sorry, Iguano, the representative Iguano said he was in Canada as at that moment, so couldn't have had, never had any information. I am not saying the speaker is not impeachable. What I'm saying is that everything has to be done according to the law, even as it is now. If something negative, you understand, emerges, or a story emerges in indicting the speaker, not only, you see, we are always focusing on financial impropriety. The speaker could be impeached because of inefficiency, that he is not effective.
Yes.
Have an ineffective speaker. You can also impeach if you say the speaker is not carrying the house along as it should be. Not to tell us a lack of
Insensitivity.
Lack of insensitivity. Now, and it appeared so laughable. And to me, that was the height of the drama. You are impeaching somebody because of their lack of insensitivity. So, I should think that if the protest, if the ground or their impeachment notice had said that the speaker had not been able to lead the house, then that the speaker had not been able to provide a vision, a clear-cut vision for the house to function as independent arm of government, I would have wanted to say, I would have said, okay, let us examine this more. You understand? But from what could be understood, maybe they were talking about financial welfare of themselves, not even of their constituencies. And it's a very huge one.
All right.
People who are giving money to run offices.
Yeah, because of our time, 8 other lawmakers who participated in the purported impeachment of the Speaker of the House, including the embattled Deputy Speaker, were suspended by 1 month. And the suspended lawmakers include Honorable Chukwudi Apu, who is the purported newly elected Speaker of the House, and so many others. They're just 1 month.
Yes, because the House has only 1 month.
Yes. That's it.
And the funny thing is that the suspension, I didn't know whether you get that, said without benefits. I don't know that these benefits they are going to be denied now means only salary, or it will include, now see, severance package. There is a money they are paid. There is something they are paid when they are going out, especially those who are not coming back. Severance, you understand? They are, you are asking for severance from withdrawing. You pay them, and this money is usually substantial. You understand? Whether it is involved or any other thing, and it could be the way to punish them. But to me, what they did was actually had a
But don't you think, in terms of these benefits, or rather severance payment and whatever package they're supposed to go with, don't you think that is entirely the determinant of the governor? Because after this impeachment, the governor came out openly to say that he's going to weld into the matter to bring the two warring parties together.
Why would the governor wade into the matter? Are you seeing it? Why would the governor wade into the matter? Is it a party affair where you say the governor is the leader of the party in the state? Or are we talking about here? Are we talking about an issue happening within another arm of government? You understand? I wouldn't know why the governor would want to wade into the matter, unless it is to be established that the governor is friends with the assembly member, and that they could that they hear from, or he has their ears.
Because of the synergy they had enjoyed.
Perhaps, and that's but to me it should be a legislative matter. There is a clerk in the house, there is a speaker in the house, there is a deputy speaker, there is a majority leader. You understand? There is also a minority leader. There is also chief whip. I do not think it is beyond them, these municipal officers, to go together and come and say, okay, how do we look at it? If they must reconcile. You know what I'm saying now? The most important thing is this 1 month remaining. What other businesses are unfinished on their table? What other businesses? Because you see, we don't query these people. These ones we elect as members to represent us. We don't interrogate them. We don't even dissect what they do. We are always interested in whether the governor is building road, whether the governor is doing infrastructure, which is fine. But do we even ask these people what impute? You know, in Abia State, I think some time ago, the last assembly, I think 6th assembly, didn't pass up to 50 bills. Okay, let me say 60, didn't pass up to 60 bills. Now you have 24 members. They will sit for 24. They will sit for 4 years. They will sit for 4 years, 4 whole years. It means that some of the members did not even pass any bill. They did not sponsor a bill, rather.
That even some of the members never even represented themselves.
They never represented themselves. No, to represent thousands of persons now. Imagine. So, if at all, I'm expecting to see. To hear that they are passing, or that they are where. See, there ought to be about, let's say, 1,000 bills. Prof, as we speak now, there are issues coming up. There are issues. Yeah. Issues are coming up every day. Even how to better our electoral system, how to do this, how to do that, how to make sure we get out of the place where we no longer have to be stuck in darkness for power or whatever. Especially now that the president has signed into law the Constitutional Amendment Bill, which empowers the state to be a player, to generate and use electricity, to even sell. Now, there should be a way these people are talking about this, and then we don't get to hear. What we hear is that there is impeachment. When they collect their salary, do we know? When they even now, if this impeachment had not happened, we wouldn't have known. Some of us wouldn't have known that there is what entitlement known as vacation, legislative vacation in Canada. There are also other conferences. But at this point, I think there is every need to delink the legislature from the executive. In most cases, you see that the state government or the state will now be the ones to give out cars. All those things should not be the norm. They should not continue to be there. You understand? I'm expecting different things entirely from the assembly. I'm expecting them to get governor. Be bet. Just why you are there. You don't just say the eyes have it. You can't. It passes and comes up.
I know you mentioned something like this. At this point in time when these people, some of them are not returning, some of them are going, and then instead of how to be just everywhere, no matter how much the government must have tried and so on. There are also some legs. Any government that fails, we mustn't just look at either the president or the governor.
Yes.
But also the members of the House of Assembly, they had a role to play.
Yeah, because if they had been at their toes, if they have been at the alert, maybe on the alert, if they have been on the alert and we are mounting serious pressure on the governor or the president, they would have done better. You understand? Including, see, their works, I said their works are into three places, as in are into three. If by virtue of supervision, that's oversight, they know that the Ministry of Works is, and they ask, what is holding this road? I think with the budget, now see, we passed the budget, and from the budget we passed, the period for construction has elapsed. So why is this to build healthcare, so and so place? We've not seen it erected. That is how to hold government to account. That's what we call oversight. You understand? And they can summon. How many times have you heard them summon a commissioner to appear and defend their budget or even defend the policy? Are there no policies? There are policies.
Why not?
There are policies. So how many times have you heard them summon the governor, even the governor, say, Your Excellency, you must appear and answer? We've never heard that one before. So until we have an arm of government, a legislative arm of government that is led by, you see, if we make the mistake of electing people who we are better than, or let me say half-baked persons, it will embolden the executive to do more.
Yes, sometime in one of my write-ups, there was a time I mentioned that the NIPS, the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies in Guru,
okay, yes, good.
I was there sometime about 4 years ago, and that don't you think that every politician elected must at least pass through that for
yes,
proper orientation of what they are coming in?
Yes,
because most of them who are coming in are greenhorns and neophytes politically. And then all their major interest and concern is how much
the pecuniary, the pecuniary side of it.
That is just that.
Not the input.
So what do you think NIPS, the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, what are they doing?
I think the sometimes it could be the federal government recommend. For example, people who attend certain
during our own time were sent by political parties.
Yes, and this is what I expect these political parties to be doing. Sometimes a president may say, okay, let the IG of police go and take a course, or let the police cadre at this grade go and take a course there. And there are courses you can take about policy. And we're talking about public policy here. Budget is a policy, infrastructure is a policy, negotiation is a policy. Everything you're talking about, reacting to issues, is also policy. Now, how do they understand policy? And what we are talking about is policy, which comes from input. So when they are well equipped, when they are well educated or well placed, they can now begin to make input. You see, a governor may even bring a bill. you consider that bill. After consideration of the bill, you see that there are some other inputs you need to make. And that is how to talk about public policy that is pro-people, that is pro-poor, that is pro-Abia. You understand? So I should expect the political parties to do more. You understand? Sending people to some of these institutes. Not only Kuru, we also have Nigeria Institute of International Affairs. We also have a lot of leadership institutes.
No, you talk about when you talk about policy, and we're talking about policy.
Yes.
I think that of Kuru is specifically.
It's specifically for policy.
For policy. So that is why
not just policy, strategic policy. Because the policies must be strategic. And now, how strategic is this 7th Assembly? And we have to begin to see. And I will urge that we make it a duty. We must make sure that we publicize the names of the incoming members. People will know their members. From time to time, we bring them here, even ask them questions. Where is your office?
Yes.
Some of them can't. You see, you go to their offices, you can't see budgets. Why? The same thing they debated upon. So how can they be in the know?
Okay, finally, before you talk about for today, let us also look at a lot of people talk about constituency allowance. And so, what is this constituency allowance supposed to mean to the electorate?
To the best of my knowledge, there is a change that vacated the constituency allowance thing. I think there is a constitution amendment that ended that. I think it was signed by either Buhari or Jonathan. There is no longer constituency
allowance
project fee or something. What they can only do now is that they can attract projects. Yes, they can attract projects, and they can attract commissions, like maybe Nigeria Data Commission, the NDDC, to do a project in their place. But I've noticed something from my personal experience, from the field work I did, that what they normally do now is empowerment. And for them to empower people, they had to import things using firms. In most cases, you see that the firms are not even up to 5 years when they have registered. They have been incorporated by persons who are also close to them. You understand? You call, you say, you even ask a liaison officer, say, what has your principal done? Show us. We are trying to take stock. After 4 years, civil societies do this, and I've been involved. We go to the field, they say, honorable or the distinguished senator built this street light. This is the cost. You begin to ask, who built? You see that the company or the persons or the hands used will not even be far from them.
That's true.
I'm telling you the truth. And so I have seen a member who empowered people with chicken, with chicks. And I was asking, what empowerment is this? Empowerment, you're empowering people with chicks, young chicks. So, and I've had to say, in the course of supervising, or in the course of trying to evaluate, you understand, all these things they do. That is when you begin to interrogate. Say, why did you do this? A certain person who represented Bende, but I won't talk about whether it is federal or state now, only launched a program that covered the person's village and another tiny village close. No mention of places like other places. And they never knew that place was my terrain. I now began to ask questions from the name from the names I'm seeing on the list. What about this community? What about this community? The person started saying, hey, Oga, this one did. I said, didn't you take your project there? So you see that in most cases they end up empowering those who had campaigned for them and those who are close to them. And that is why we have to focus more on them, because we talk about them, the governor, the government, the state governor, they could be too complex. These are people who are closer to us than the governor.
Yes, and you also know even the governors do some mistake. Have you ever seen another party involved in commissionership of any state?
I've never seen.
Yeah, just the same political party, forgetting that the moment you become either a governor or a president, you were elected for the people and not for your family and those who voted for you. Yes. It is no more a political affair.
Patronage and reward has to do with campaign, and that is why campaigns don't end in Nigeria.
They don't end, yeah.
They don't. I am still urging that we get to a place where a community doesn't have to thank the governor for appointing their son as a commissioner, or that a state stops thanking the president for appointing their son or their daughter as a minister. The constitution says he must rule with the cabinet.
All right, that's what the Constitution says, and that is where we are going to draw the curtain today. I thank you for being there, and remember other programs will be coming subsequently after now. Remember what we told you on Tuesday. On Tuesday, issues of the moment will be coming up again, and that's when we'll be looking at the 7-point agenda as stated by an Abia daughter, a distinguished Abia daughter, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, and handed over to our governor-elect, Dr. Chioma Alex Oti. All right, having said this, this is the much we are going to take today. Comrade Nnamdi Lekwachi, we're glad to have you here today.
I'm glad to be here too. Thank you so much. Thank you, viewers.
And thank you, all our wonderful viewers. Keep watching Living TV. This is your command, Chinedum Adiele. Keep it with us and keep watching Living TV even after now. So many interesting programs will be coming your way. Don't go away.
Discipline is ruining the country now. Corruption here, there, and everywhere. Inflation is soaring high. Let's save Nigeria, so Nigeria won't die. Which way Nigeria? Which way Nigeria? Which way to go? Which way to go? I love my fatherland. Oh, sure. I want to know. Yes, I want to know. Was our doom. Some people now have everything, while many have nothing. Let's save Nigeria, so Nigeria won't fall. Which way Nigeria? Which way Nigeria? Which way to go? Which way to go? I love my fatherland. I want to know. Yes, I want to know. Which way Nigeria? Revolution is a reality. Let's give it a chance to grow. Let's join our hands to farm the land so we can have enough food to show. Let's save Nigeria, so Nigeria won't die. Which way Nigeria? Which way Nigeria? Which way to go? Way to go? I love my fatherland. Oh sure. I want to know. Yes, I want to know. To be millionaires is running the country down. We all want to be millionaires and to live in the air. Oh, let's save Nigeria, so Nigeria won't die. Which way Nigeria? Which way Nigeria? Which way to go? Which way to go? I love my fatherland. Oh yeah, I want to know. Yes, we want. Remember that a simple step is the beginning of a million miles. We start right now to rebuild ourselves so as to make the country smile. Let's save Nigeria, so Nigeria won't die. Which way Nigeria? Which way Nigeria? Heaven and earth will pass away. It is written in the book of God. The good people we shall find their ways, and the meek will inherit the world. Let's save Nigeria, so Nigeria won't fall.